We are going to be talking about the infamous JFK files, which Donald Trump has now released per his campaign promises. Promises made, promises kept. This evening's show is going to be a Rumble premium members exclusive. So we'll be with you on YouTube and X and the like for the first few minutes before we switch over to Rumble exclusive, and then you'll have to have the membership to come in. Now, I love and hate doing that. I really do, and I want to reiterate my objective as far as staying on all the other platforms. You know, there's a big hubbub. This was the last week for Crowder and the lineup and all those, Tim Pool, Russell Brand, all those guys have just they're no longer going to be live streaming on YouTube. They're going to be going to Rumble exclusively. I'm going to stay on YouTube. I'm going to keep the Brushfire Mind on YouTube, on X, on all the platforms we're on for now. Now, I'm going to let Mario off the leash a little more often, and hopefully YouTube just straight cans us and we can bitch about it because, you know, victim points, baby. that is the modern currency. So we'll have a bunch of great jokes and gags about that shit when it does go down. But for now, we're going to start on YouTube and all the other platforms. And as long as we're still on the other platforms, even when we're doing these exclusives on Rumble, like we're doing tonight, the point is I want you guys out there on YouTube to share the show, help grow the channel. Let's get those subs. Let's stack those bodies up and get and let them know, you know, hey, it's time to leave YouTube, right? We are declaring an economic and political holodomor against YouTube. We will starve them out. So tonight, we're going to be talking about the JFK files, and I've got our resident expert. Mario is a brilliant analyst and commentator and an expert on world history, and believe it or not, and should come as no surprise, he's an expert on conspiracy theories as well. So I give to you the tangling and diamond sharp mind of recently greased WAP Mario Romano.
Okay, you can stop fluffing me. It's okay. All right.
Do me a favor, Mario. Adjust your camera down a little more. Let's get to where we're a little more. Yeah, buddy.
All right.
That's a great camera angle. It makes you look almost as big as me.
I'm not, and I'm not a small man. But anyway, so Larry or Chris just handed me a few more hats apparently that I didn't know I had to wear. It's okay. I can open a haberdashery. Okay, back here.
You got a big ass head. We can stack MAGA. We can stack MAGA to the moon, baby.
It's true. Yep. The 7 3/4, I believe, hat. The one that, yeah. Anyway, common thing in the Army where they didn't have hats my size half the time, so they had to be specially ordered. Anyway, So yes, today we are going to be covering the recently released JFK files. Okay.
By the way, they charge a premium on the custom hats. They're not cheap when you have to order your hats custom for the uniform.
Well, you know, it's the price you pay. So they say the average Caucasian male or average Caucasian has between 3 to 5% Neanderthal admixture. Pretty sure I have the full 5%. Okay, but that's okay. I could work with it. And as yes. we would be in ancient times. We would be the ancients that lived in the woods. Okay, that people just were kind of scared of, but they went to when they needed some mystical knowledge, right?
Yeah, I think in ancient times I'd have been catching sling stones with my dome.
Or we'd just be dead. So, such be the ancients. Anyway, so yes, recently released the JFK files. It was 60-something thousand documents were released and 80,000 are promised. A lot of this had already been released during Trump's first administration and some of it during Biden's administration. All right. The key differences here are that a lot of the stuff that was redacted before has not been redacted, or was at least minimized minimized instead of redacted. For example, instead of it just being a black line, it will say Israeli intelligence service, okay, or Israeli asset, or things like that, giving you kind of a more of the picture of what's going on, or like a Cuban asset, Cuban CIA asset, etc.
Right.
So they're filling in
Well,
the
and
they're not
it's
filling in
kind
the
of like
cracks. They're not
it,
filling in the cracks completely, but they are planting a few flowers in there to kind of guide you along the way. All right, so you get a
and
much
in
more
all
clear picture.
fairness, in all fairness, I'll compare it a little bit to the release of the Epstein documents.
Which
We
is
have
not
not gotten what we were hoping for out of the Epstein
a shame.
documents.
Yeah, that
We
was a
got,
shame.
but we got some releases on of the Epstein of some Epstein documents where they were documents we saw before that were heavily redacted, and we got some documents out after the, from Trump's administration where they're still redacted, but they're not as heavily redacted, and it's clear that some of what they did is like now we get a name where we didn't before, and then the thing under it that's redacted is like the private home address of a private citizen, because some of those it's okay, this name is here as an associate of Epstein. That doesn't guarantee that this person actually did anything wrong, and so we'll protect the privacy of his address so we don't have people just randomly lynching motherfuckers that didn't actually do anything.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean Donald Trump is an associate of Jeffrey Epstein. If you want to be honest about it, okay.
Correct.
Not
And in all
not
fairness,
saying not
we all know
not
where he
saying
lives.
not saying he didn't do anything wrong. Not saying he did anything wrong. Okay, but
Right.
now the bottom line,
But
no,
we
the
already know
Epstein
his
release.
presence.
The Epstein release was a sham. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now there was maybe a smattering of revelation, but to be honest, previous releases had more information. Okay, that was a sham, and I think that the administration knew that they actually needed to like give the give the people something. Okay, so that's why you're getting these JFK files, not like fully complete, but you're getting enough information where an intelligent person and honest person can basically deduce what happened. Okay, so we do know now why JFK was assassinated, and we know it was either one group of
And we're
people
going to
or
tell you that in the Rumble Premium.
right, exactly. So it was either one group or between three different groups, okay, or maybe all at once, okay. But the bottom line is we know who done did it. All right. Um, now another thing to say, thing I mentioned is during the Epstein release, basically everybody except for Epstein himself, associated with that conspiracy fact, with that blackmail operation, they're all still alive. Okay, which creates additional trouble for political issues. All right, and the basically burning assets, okay, type of issues. All
Right.
right,
Yeah.
because if you release all that shit, what's the point of Epstein? The point of Epstein is to generate blackmail to control people. If you release all that, well, then the blackmail's useless now, isn't it? Now you just got compromised assets who are essentially burned politically and useless. All right, whereas with the JFK files, these people are they're all basically dead. Okay, virtually all of them.
Right.
So
And on the Epstein stuff real quick, and after I say this, we'll go ahead and tell YouTube to go away, and we'll switch over to the Rumble. The most generous possible interpretation of the Epstein situation is that they were conducting abhorrent operations related to children, and Epstein was an intelligence asset being used to identify and target the people involved in that billion-dollar trafficking industry. That is the most generous possible interpretation. And in that case, if that were the case, then you're talking about a situation where there may be ongoing sting type operations against major human trafficking organizations. And even, let me back up, even in the least generous interpretations, where Epstein is the evilest person that ever lived, there's a legitimate remaining interest in operations kind of like what's detailed in the film The Sound of Freedom, to target and eliminate these large trafficking organizations and operations. Because Mario, I don't know how much you worked on trafficking operations while you were in. I had a little interaction with that work, and the bitch about the large trafficking operations is you can knock down bad guys all day. The big fish is out of your jurisdiction.
Oh, it's the same. It's the
If
same
you
with
can even
terrorists.
identify them, and so every time you knock one down, they just send another one to pop up. It's very, very pernicious, very persistent, and of a very robust survivable system. It's difficult to overcome. So in the case of the Epstein files, assuming that some sort of operation like that is ongoing, I am somewhat less concerned, and that's given a lot of credit and a lot of grace and leeway to a government that, frankly, I am not totally enamored with. But I just want to throw that out there that there is a world in which there is a good reason to keep certain things close to the vest.
Well,
But let me be clear on that. If we live in that world, then the result of keeping that kind of stuff close to the vest, I need to start seeing bodies getting stacked.
if you whack all the moles, you lose access to the tunnels, right? So it's kind of how it's just how it is. You got to let some of the bad guys live to basically seed you other bad guys, right?
Yeah, and
So,
these moles are cannibals, which makes it difficult to plug their holes with corpses.
Right. But yeah, I think you're being very charitable with the Epstein case, but that's okay. One last thing I wanted to mention.
That is not my fervent belief. That is the most charitable interpretation I can imagine.
Right. One thing I'd also like to say is people out there who are grateful for these JFK documents, all right, you should also thank RFK Jr., okay?
Oh, yeah.
A member of the administration. You know for a fact that he really pressed Donald Trump to do this, and Donald Trump felt that he owed it to him. I'm sure he felt that he owed it to him, okay? And to be honest, he did. So good for RFK, all right, and good for Donald Trump on giving us a win here, okay? Appreciate it. A lot of wins going on and basically tackling the deep state right now, dismantling the administrative state. A lot of setbacks with all the judicial shenanigans going on, trying to stymie him at every given turn. Hopefully, we get some resolution with that. But this JFK doc release is a feel-good story, okay? And a lot of people are, casting shade on it, saying he didn't release literally everything. I mean, like, what do you've got enough. The point of this show, what I want to get across to you by the time we're done with it, you've got enough information now to know who did it, okay, and why it was done, all right, and possibly even sympathize with them a little bit, okay. So with that, Master Chris, if you would like to,
I'm about to hit the button. So last note before I hit the button and kick those of you out who are not premium members already, go to Rumble, get your premium account. Starve YouTube, support conservative small creators, support conservative small creators like Angry Conservative 1981, who's in the comment section there. We are trying to get the schedule sorted out so that I can go on Angry Conservative show, and Mario, when we can get you on there, we're going to go on and do some interviews with Angry Conservative. Those will also be, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, AC, but I believe the plan is for those to be Rumble Premium exclusive as well. But that's all about building networks, building the brand, and expanding the content so that we can grow some of these subscriberships.
Real quick, could I just respond to Aaron Olson? I don't know if he's a premium member. Saying, couldn't they leverage the intel? Talking about Epstein. Yes, and of course, and that's exactly what they would do. The Epstein files, whoever controls them, that's essentially the holy grail of Compromat. Okay, whoever controls that now gains control over all the assets. Think of it like I know it's some soy, but think of it like the Infinity Gauntlet. Okay, you control everything if you control those files. Absolutely. Like, yes, you're gonna go along with the MAGA agenda because now I control the Epstein files. You don't like it?
Yeah,
too bad.
And then you're familiar with the expression "so and so knows where the bodies are buried," right? The Epstein files are not where the bodies are buried; they are the bodies.
Yeah. And then Aaron Olson asks, "Sympathize with the assassins?" No, not so much that, but perhaps understand the reasoning behind the conspiracy to kill him.
Yeah,
Okay.
stick around
That's
for the
all.
premium content because
Mhm.
Mario's about to get it spicy. It's a spicy meatball. So thanks. So you guys watching on YouTube, get over to Rumble and join us for the premium content. Thanks for watching us tonight. We love you. And if you can't make it to Rumble yet, we'll see you Monday morning for the regular show. Do